and today I will be reading to you from Sinclaire Academy from Ivy 127. Now, on to Chapter 1. America's Point of View. Follow me, sir. My spirit woke up when I heard the old woman's voice again. I didn't do anything but follow her as she started walking towards somewhere. As we walked, I caught a glimpse of some parts of Sinclaire Academy. We passed a wide open field. The grass here is trimmed and is surrounded by different kinds of trees, so the breeze seems cool here. I can't deny that this place is very beautiful and big. My neck almost broke when I looked around. I'm sure I'll get lost here. I'm the type of person who is not great with directions. I should probably ask the vampire lady for a map, but I'd rather not say anything to her. They say it's a privilege to be accepted in this place, but right now I don't feel so privileged. In fact, as I followed the vampire lady, I started to feel like I was walking to my own doom. Okay, maybe I'm just overreacting because I'm nervous. Based on what I've read in the student handbook, drinking human blood is strictly prohibited in this place. The vampires that go here are under the blood diet, so they are required to take an alternative to quench their thirst. I took a deep breath when I saw where the old woman and I were going. There was a metal gate at the end of the path that we were walking on. Engraved on it is the crest of Sinclaire Academy, and written below is the word dusk. The gate opened automatically when we got in front of it. We went inside and walked down the cemented driveway to a building that looked like a mansion. It is quite far from the gate and surrounded by trees. According to the handbook, the human's dormitory is called Dusk. It is far from the main road of the academy because it stands in the middle of a forest. It is said that the female students reside in the east wing, while the male students reside in the west wing. I almost hit the old woman's back when she stopped walking. She faced me and looked me straight in the eye. I'll stop here, Sir America. You can find your room on your own. It's not that hard to find. She said, and then looked me from head to toe as if she was judging whether or not I would stay in this place or not. Does she do this to all transfer students, or just to me? Have a great first day, and again, welcome to Sinclaire Academy, she added before she turned around and walked out into the dusk. I bit my lower lip. First days are never great. I took a deep breath and then opened the door of my future dorm. I expected many people to greet me as I entered, but I didn't see one. The entire ground floor is quiet, so there's no one here. I looked at my wristwatch and saw 6:45 a.m. It's not breakfast time just yet, so maybe the students are still in their rooms. It's been a week since classes started here at Sinclaire Academy. This is one of the many reasons why I am nervous now. Other students are already comfortable in their classes while I'm just starting. I went up a large staircase that looked like something from the Titanic that divided the girls' and boys' rooms. When I reached the top step of the stairs leading to the west wing, a row of doors opened to me. I took out a paper from my bag that was given to me when I arrived earlier, and then looked around for my room number to the dorm. I blew my bangs that had been blocking my face, and then I held my bag tighter. Okay, Room 51. Where are you? After 10 minutes, I also found my room. It's a good thing I saw it right away because I felt like my shoulder was about to give way because of the weight of the bag I was carrying. I was about to raise my hand and knock on the door, but suddenly it opened and revealed the face of a man smiling widely. He looked at me from head to toe and then let me inside. I immediately dropped my bag on the empty table on the right side of the room and sighed. I looked around and saw that my new dorm was going to be big. There's a mini fridge in the corner of the room and a door that looks like it leads to a private bathroom. I looked at the left side of the room and noticed that there were things placed there. There are posters and small papers with doodles stuck to the wall, while there's a laptop and books on the study table, neatly placed, and pillows scattered on the bed with a purple bedsheet. Then I turned my gaze to the right side of the room and saw that there was a large wardrobe and simple study table with a black lampshade. I also noticed that there were boxes laying on the side of the bed where I put the bag I was carrying. I'm sure it's my stuff that got here before me. I took a deep breath and then rubbed my shoulders. I will stay in this dorm room my entire junior year. I don't know yet if I will be studying here my senior year, or even if we'll stay in Hangrove. So the best thing I could do for now is cast away all my negative thoughts since I'm already here and there's no backing out. I'm Philippines, by the way. I'll be your roommate, the boy suddenly said. His tone of voice was friendly, and he looked cheerful. But just call me Phil. Philip is too boyish. He extended his hand, and I accepted it with a smile. I'm America. Do you have a nickname? I nodded. May. Welcome to Sinclaire Academy, May. The teachers assigned me to give you a tour of campus and take you to your classes today, he said, and went to his study table, and then he faced the laptop that was on it. Did you have a hard time finding the dorm? I nodded. Kinda, because I haven't seen anyone before that I could ask where I should go or what I should do. I couldn't see the reaction on his face because when I said that, his back was turned to me. But I heard him chuckle. Don't worry, almost everyone who's new here has been through the same thing. And you really won't meet anyone outside at this time. No one usually goes out before breakfast time. When he finished what he was doing on his laptop, he closed it and then faced me with a smile. Come on, I'll give you a tour of the campus before we have breakfast. Is your school bag ready? I nodded and took my school bag that I had just put down. Let's go, he said, and then he walked out of the room. I could do nothing but follow him. I immediately noticed that there were people outside today. Some of them were walking in the hallway, while others were just coming out of their rooms. Are you hungry? A little, I answered and then smiled. Promise it's a quick tour. It won't take more than 10 minutes, he said, then took my hand and pulled me down the big staircase. We were able to leave the dorm together with other students. It seemed like it was quiet here, but now I could hear the chatter of students and the thump of their footsteps. Funny how a lot of things changed after just a few minutes. Phil took me to the middle of the open field that I had seen earlier while the vampire lady and I were going to dusk. Some of the students were walking around here looking at us, so I bowed down in shame. This is a big essay, so what I'm going to teach you here is the basics. Phil began. The place where you are standing now is called the crossing field. It'll serve as a compass here at the academy because you can see all parts of the SA from that spot. He made me face south and pointed at the building that stood there. The main building is Lion. I guess that's where you came from before you went to Dusk. I nodded. He turned and then pointed to the direction where Dusk was. Dusk is a lion, the dorm of humans, he said. Then his finger landed on a building near Dusk. That's Dawn, the vampire's dorm. Don't go in there unaccompanied. I nodded. I took a breath and then looked carefully at the two mansion-like structures in front of me. The two dorms are almost identical in design. The only difference being that Dawn is bigger than Dusk because there are probably more students that live in there. Is it dangerous there? I asked Phil. I don't know. I haven't been inside yet. But for me, that place seems to have a vibe that says, "Go away, humans. You are not welcome here." Phil was right. Dawn was a different place. That place looks intimidating. Its main door was closed, as well as all the windows, and it was very quiet around it. It was very different from Dusk, which was now full of noise from the students coming out. That place looks really scary. Phil shrugged. I don't think so. It just gives off dark and mysterious vibes. Keep in mind that we're not allowed to go in there unless we're invited to come inside. Okay, moving on. Phil grabbed my shoulder and turned me to face the west. He pointed out two buildings standing there. The Eastwood and Hangrove buildings are Lions. The dining hall is also in Eastwood. Behind that, there's a large open space for fieldwork. Then he made me face east and he pointed at the building there. Lastly, that's the auditorium building. It's rarely used, he said. I remembered reading about that in the student handbook. I noticed that there weren't many extracurricular activities here, unlike my old school. Okay, May. That's only 6 buildings. You should be able to remember all of them, I said to myself. Phil looked at the wristwatch he was wearing and then looked at me with a smile. Just 10 minutes before breakfast time. There are other buildings here, but you will know about them too when you've been here for a long time. The important thing is that you already know some of the basic information. I hovered over him as he pulled me into the dining hall. I was amazed when we entered it because of the grand design of the surroundings. Because it was almost like a fancy restaurant. The color of almost all of the furnishings was cream, and there was a large chandelier at the top of the room and glass windows all around. Phil and I sat at a table near one of the windows. The scenery here was beautiful because the plants and trees outside were so prominent. Do you want to get some food? You can leave your bag here on the table while you get it. It won't get lost or stolen, Phil said, and I just nodded. We both went to the long table full of food. He handed me a plate and a bottle of orange juice, and then I started to choose food. I got 2 pieces of pancake and bacon. This is not the normal amount that I eat, but I have the morning jitters today, and I feel like I won't finish the food if I take a lot. Phil and I ate in silence, every few seconds stopping and turned to the entrance to the dining hall. Are you looking for them? He asked, pertaining to the vampire students. He probably noticed my actions, so he said that. I nodded out of embarrassment. Am I that obvious? There was an incident that happened yesterday. That's why they're not here today. We're suspecting that it's something to do with their diet. Maybe they changed the formula again, so they were allowed to not go to their classes this morning. I just nodded at what he said. I didn't ask for details, but I confirmed that the rumors are true. There are tests being done on vampire students who study here. I couldn't help but stare at everyone in the dining hall. It was interesting, and then I continued eating, while I observed my surroundings. I look at them because they look like normal students who are doing okay with their lives. Will they like me? We moved to the Hangrove because Mom wanted a fresh start after what happened to our family 2 years ago. She didn't even ask my opinion about her decision because maybe she thought that she didn't have to. Because I can't leave anything important in Florida. I only had one friend there, and she already left years ago. The only thing I'm worried about is the welfare of Canada. My younger brother, because he will make memories here in Hangrove, not the place where I grew up. I shook my head. This is not the time for me to revisit the past. There were 15 minutes left in breakfast time when Phil and I finished eating and left the dining hall. I thought I'd go through my locker first to reduce the amount of books I was carrying. When I told Phil this, he scratched his head. Okay, but I have to go back to dusk. I left my homework next to my laptop. Can you go there alone? I nodded. Just wait for me. In front of your locker. What's your first class? I'll take you to the classroom later, he said. Chemistry. We're the same, he said happily. I was quite happy with that, since he said it meant that I would not be a loner in my first class here at Sinclaire Academy. Or if you get lost, just ask the other students, he added before he turned and walked back to dusk. I was left alone in the hallway. It was surprising that there were no other students here today. I looked for what was mine in the row of lockers, but I had trouble finding it because there were no names written on the front of the lockers, just numbers. While I was walking, I opened my bag to separate the books from what I wouldn't need this morning, and I couldn't find the paper where I wrote the passcode of my locker's lock. Shit! I sat on the floor and dropped my bag when I bumped into something. I could hear my things falling on the floor because the whole hallway was so quiet right now. My hands immediately went to my sore bottom. I didn't see what I hit, but I think it was a solid wall because the impact of my fall was quite strong. This is the first morning, and I immediately got hurt. What is this? Sinclaire Academy doesn't seem to be welcoming me. Watch where you're going, human. I heard an irritated male voice. Shit. And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time. And I will see you tomorrow.